How y'all doing? Listen, we are live on Facebook. We are live on Instagram. I hope y'all well. Go ahead, come on in the room, like, share, comment, tag a friend. It's World Changer Wednesday. Shout out to the world changers. How you changing the world? Okay? Listen, I had to come on live and explain myself. Y'all been in my DMs, in my inboxes, sending me emails in the comment section. So we need to have a conversation. So come on in the room. We're going to talk about programming like a boss. I'm going to explain myself, hence now and forevermore, for all of you that keep on inboxing me. What up, Instagram? Listen, I love y'all. It's World Changer Wednesday. I'm Nathalie Nelson Parker. I am here to give you some inspiration, some motivation, some insight on how you can increase your funding, maximize your mission, make your nonprofit or your small business more profitable. And today we're going to talk about programming. So let me give you a little background into why I posted what I posted and why I'm going live today. Okay, and shout out to World Changer Nation. Shout out to our Zero to Funded community, however it is you're tapping with us today. Go ahead, like, share, comment, tag a friend. We're talking about programming like a boss. So I'm going to talk about my post, but before I get to the post, okay, for all of y'all that have been in my inbox, in my DMs, texting me or whatnot, let me explain myself. So for over 10 years, I've been working with nonprofits. In the last 2 years, I've been working very closely with nonprofits and small businesses to get funding, whatever funding looks like, right? I talk about grants a lot, but we don't just get funding through grants. We get funding through contracts. So we've submitted proposals 6 figures and above. We've also done events. So there's multiple ways that you can generate revenue. So let me say this. I do not believe the only way to generate revenue in your nonprofit and your small business is through grants. That's not what Nathalie Nelson Parker believes. That is not what we tell people. We believe grant writing is one stream of revenue that you can use in your nonprofit or small business, okay? So let me get that out of the way. Like, share, comment, tag a friend, let the church say amen, okay? I am not saying that it is sustainable to only have grants in your nonprofit or small business. That's not what I believe in. That's not what we teach. But I have noticed working with nonprofits and small businesses that people have great ideas. They have great events. They have great relationship building. But a lot of nonprofits and small businesses lack funding because they don't have a solid, well thought out, well implemented, and well executed program. Okay? There is a difference between an idea and a program. There is a difference between a good event and a good program. Okay? So I'm talking about my post yesterday. I'm going to get to the post, but I want to give you some background. I have worked with wonderful nonprofits that have amazing support, that have popular personalities. But when you go to the back end and dig into what they're doing, they don't have any programming. They don't have any outcomes. They don't have any deliverables. And so that hinders them from really getting amazing funding opportunities because they don't have programming. Okay, so don't get mad at me about my post. I'm just sharing with you. Is that okay, World Changers? Is that okay, Instagram? Is that okay, Facebook? I'm just sharing with you my experience from working with nonprofits and small business. Okay, and I'm not bashing anybody. I'm not saying that you can't run a successful business or nonprofit without program. I am just saying, if you want to generate more income, if you want to generate more opportunities through grants, there is a difference when you have one well thought out program, and I'm gonna share this real quick, and we're gonna dive into some really good content. One really good program, one well thought out, strategically implemented program could generate multiple six figures in your nonprofit or small business. And I'm telling you this from personal experience, right? I'm not boasting. I'm not doing any of that. If you take time to really develop a good program, both in your nonprofit, both in your small business, you can use it to generate income in multiple ways, okay? So for instance, we talked about in the post. Now I'm going to talk about the post. So I posted this yesterday. I didn't think that it was going to be such a big issue, but for those of you who follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, I made a reel. It was something real simple. And I just said, you know, when clients want a grant, but they don't have programming, you ain't got to worry about me. That was, you know, I didn't think it was going to be this uproar. I mean, lots of people have been reaching out to me since I shared that. But the funny thing is this, I've also been getting texts from people. You can't see this on Instagram, but someone said when churches want a grant but have no programming, someone says when someone asks you for money. So people have been reaching out saying, and this person that sent them, I'm not going to put her business out in the street, but she provides multiple six figures of grant funding for churches. And this is a problem that she's had, right? Like churches come and they don't have a well thought out program. So the reason why I posted that is because we've been able, both in the nonprofit and in the for-profit sector, to generate six figures off of just one program. Okay. And we've done it. It's so nice we did it twice. So we've done it in both areas. So I'm not saying this as something that I'm thinking. I'm saying this as something that we've been able to accomplish. Okay. So let me break down some of the myths. Is that all right? Is this helpful for you all? I hope so. Because listen, at the end of the day, world changers, whoever you are, wherever you are in your funding journey, I want you to win. And so it's really important that we have the information. We're armed with the information we need to really create great infrastructure in our nonprofits and small businesses to be able to generate income. Okay. So let's break down some of the myths and some of the differences between the daily or the day-to-day activities or the day-to-day or even annual events that you have in your nonprofit or small business, and the difference, right, in programming. Okay? Y'all ready? Y'all go ahead, talk to me in the comment section. Like, share, comment, tag a friend. Let them know it's World Changing Wednesday, and we're digging into how to program like a boss. Okay? So here's the biggest misconception. All right? The biggest misconception about grant funding, about any kind of funding that you can get. So let me preface this. When I'm talking about funding, I'm talking about different revenue streams. So if you're a small business or nonprofit, that can be your client, that could be your services that you offer your client, that can be products, that can be events, that can be sponsorship, that can be grant funding, that can be donors, however it is you're generating revenue in your nonprofit, right? The number one problem that people have is they have great ideas, but they don't have a program to measure outcomes. Okay? The difference between a program and an event, or a program and can y'all hear me on Instagram? I keep getting a call. The difference between an event and a program is that a program clearly maps out what you're doing, who you're doing it for, how you're doing it, why it's important. And this is the big thing. that gets funders, whether it's investors, funders, whether it's grantors, is the impact that you're making. Okay. So the number one issue is that people have outputs. You're doing your day-to-day activities, you're doing your events, but you don't measure outcomes. Outcomes is the thing that's going to convert your clients to buy. Outcomes is the thing that's going to make grantors look at your grant proposal and rise it to the top versus other people. And so the number one misconception I see, and if you want to program like a boss, you have to be able to identify your outputs versus your outcomes. And that's what programming helps you to do. Okay. Number one is the outputs versus the outcomes. That's what you are able to do when you start to program like a boss. That leads me to the second thing. The second mistake that I see people make, whether you're nonprofit or small business, is that people are in their nonprofit, in their small business, and they're not on it. When you become a programmer, when you start programming like a boss, you're able to kind of separate yourself from the day-to-day work of your nonprofit or small business, and you're able to kind of take a higher view to see what are the different pieces that make this event, that make this product, that make this service, that make this program work. And how do I put it together? How do I put it together in a way that it is fundable? All right, listen, Instagram, I always end up having a problem with y'all. Can you hear me now? I got a call, so that messed it up. If you can't, come over to Facebook. So, number one, when you start to program like a boss, you're able to get to the place where you understand your outcomes versus your outputs. When you start to program like a boss, it takes you from being in your business or your nonprofit to being on your business or nonprofit, right? Really getting to a place where you can situate the different pieces that you need to align to be able to, and this is the last thing, get to a specific end, okay? When you start to program like a boss, you're able to do something called reverse engineering. Because with programming, you start with the end in mind, and then you build your business, your nonprofit, your program, your whatever it is to reach that end goal. I don't know how many people come to me and say they want a grant, and they are not capable of explaining to me what they do, what they offer, and how it leads to a specific end. A lot of people, like I said, have great ideas, great mission statements, amazing community impact, but are not able to tangibly articulate exactly what their activity is doing and how it's making that impact. And so programming is a skill set that allows you to be able to communicate to your future investor, to your future donor, to your future client, to your future grantor, exactly what you offer and what it brings to whoever it is you're serving. That is so important. And programming is a skill set that helps you to do that. All right. So listen, y'all, I'm explaining my post that I made yesterday that got me in trouble and got everybody in my inboxes and my DMs. Most of you were really funny about it. But I wanted to kind of clear up those myths and those mistakes. And again, this is something that has helped us in multiple ways be able to generate income because we use that programming mindset, right? Programming like a boss, right? And it really only takes one good, well thought out planned program to work. You hear what I'm saying? It really only takes one good, well thought out program to work. And that can generate multiple streams of income in your nonprofit or small business. Okay, so how to program like a boss. I'm talking about the mistakes that a lot of people make when they are looking for funding, particularly in grants. And don't be offended, right? I said you ain't got to worry about me. You don't want to learn how to program. I understand that. But programming is essential to creating a compelling grant narrative. It is essential in building a product that works, in building an experience that works. Shout out to Cleveland, Ohio. I see you. I see you. Y'all go ahead, like, share, comment. I'm going to share the last thing. All right, so here's the 4 mistakes that I see people make. Number 1, they focus on outputs and not on outcomes. Programming helps you to explain what you do and have the proof that it works, which is which is really, really important. Number 2, people spend more time in their nonprofits or small business instead of on it. And so what programming helps you to do is to separate you from the day-to-day activities, the thing that takes up your time, right? The things that really don't allow you to do the activities that matter, right? And that's the most important, like strategic planning, mapping out your course, right? So programming helps you to separate yourself from the day-to-day, to really get on top of things and to see all the pieces that you need to put together to get to the end, right? Which is the next point. Programming helps us to reverse engineer, because instead of just worrying about the day-to-day, we're starting with the end in mind, and we're building the teams, right? We're building the budget. We're building the objectives. We're building the mission and the vision. We're putting all of that together in a program so that we can meet the end in mind. And then last, programming helps us to articulate to future funders, right? When you build one good program, and hear me good when I say this is not theory. This is not what I think. This is what our team has been able to do. When you build one good program, it can generate revenue multiple ways. Let me give you an example. We have one program in our nonprofit. It's an event. We were able to talk about that event in a way that it was not just a one-day event, but it was a program that led to scholarships, that led to a 6-figure grant, that led to registration, that led to sponsorships. Hear what I'm saying? 5 streams of income from one event. That's what programming does. We took that same concept and that same model. We wrote a program. We got a $15,000 grant. We took that $15,000 grant, and in our business, we were able to generate one program. Shout out to World Changer Nation, the art of securing grants. And I'm not putting this out there. Listen, I'm transparent. If I win, we all win. So I'm just telling you. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what we've been able to do. So that $15,000 grant, that's one stream of funding, took it, made it a program, and that program has been able to generate what's it generate? It's generating it. I don't know what to say. So it is possible. So for all of you who saw the post, I wasn't, it was fun and games, but it's also real life. Like this is the mindset we need to embrace to be able to take the things that you already have in your nonprofit or small business. I'm sorry, Instagram. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. Instagram can't hear. To take what you have in your nonprofit or small business and be able to generate the income that you need so you don't have to self-fund, so you don't have to be frustrated and overwhelmed. Like you already have what you need. You just have to map it out in a well thought out, well designed, executed, and implemented program. All right, so I just wanted to share that, y'all. So please don't get in my DMs yelling at me. As one person said, I need you to sit back in that chair and tell me how to program like a boss. So I said, let me go live and just share some nuggets with y'all. I hope that's been helpful. Listen, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat now. I'm going to be talking about programming for a while. Like I was not expecting it to be such a big deal, but obviously it is. And when my friend sent me this, and she is someone who is giving out giving out grants, I realized, wow, it's not just nonprofits, it's not just small businesses. You know, and in nonprofits we have churches, in nonprofits we have schools, and I've even worked with some schools that are having like real issues. They have funding to do stuff, but they don't have the programming in place, and so they're unable to use the money that they've received, and that becomes a real problem, because if you get federal money from to your institution, if you get grant money to your institution and you don't have a proper program in place, if you can't measure, you got to get that money back. So it is a real issue that I'm seeing. Someone says, do you do grants for people or just teach? Listen, I do grants for people who have their programs in place. It is something we offer, but I'm most passionate. Let me say this. I'm most passionate about helping people to know this for themselves. Because listen, I could write a grant for you all day long, and take your money. But if your nonprofit is not at a place where you're generating revenue, ethically, I do feel some type of way about that. I do feel like, how can I take money from a nonprofit to write them a grant and they don't have the information to be sustainable? Someone says, I need one-on-one consultation. Can we set that up? Absolutely. All you got to do is go to my Calendly. I'm going to put that in the chat. And you can set up a 15-minute initial discovery call with me. And then we can figure out what options would be best for you. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the Calendly link in the chat. That's a great question. Listen, if you guys have any more questions about programming like a boss, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Our team has been so overwhelmed by the questions. We're going to be talking about this for a while. So for those of you who are already enrolled in the Art of Securing Grants, we're going to talk about it on Funding Friday. For those of you who are in 7 days of grant writing, or you're in the free Facebook group, we're going to be doing more discussions around this. Actually, my friend that gives grants, I'm going to invite her if she's available to talk about it, because it is so important to know the difference and to make that mindset shift to be able to move your nonprofit or small business forward with a really good design, implemented, and executed, because that's the next part, the execution. Execution of a program. All right, any other questions, comments? Listen, I love y'all. Okay, you don't see it? All right, I'm gonna drop it. This is hard to see. Listen, let me just do this one. This will be easy. Go to NathalieNelsonParker.com, work with Nathalie. And then we'll set something up that way. NathalieNelsonParker.com / let me make sure I'm giving y'all the right thing. My team is not on this with me. That's what, they're better at this technology stuff than I am. And shout out to my team. Shout out to Tiffany Henderson holding it down for community support. Shout out to Tuella. Shout out to my husband, Leon F. Parker, our extended team. We love y'all. Thank you for holding down our community. All right, so you can go to NathalieNelsonParker.com / contact, work with Nathalie, fill out that form. We'll set up a one-on-one consultation with you. Again, okay? I need you to program like a boss. I need you to know the difference between them outputs and them outcomes. Okay, baby? Because it's the results for me. It's the results. Okay? People don't give you 6, 7, 8 figures to play, right? They want some results, some outcomes. Okay? So what's the difference between an idea and programming like a boss? It's the outcomes versus the outputs. It's the getting out from being in your business or your nonprofit and being on it, right? Being able to see all the pieces that are together to get you to number 3, reverse engineering, designing something with the end in mind. And then last but not least, generate that revenue, right? Being able to offer something that is viable, that is vital, that is sustainable, because that's what we all need. Gas prices is high. Supply groceries is high. Yes, I'm dropping subject verb agreement. I know I have an English degree from an Ivy League school, but we just talking. That's okay. Okay? That's all right. Can I be who I be? So I need that for y'all. All right. Love you. Appreciate you. It's World Changing Wednesday. We'll be back with more amazing content. Feel free to go ahead to NathalieNelsonParker.com. Contact if you want to schedule a one-on-one. We're going to have some more opportunities where we're talking about programming. Go ahead, let me know in the comments if this has been helpful. If you have questions, our team will come back and make sure we answer them for you. All right, listen, no matter who you are, no matter where you are in your funding journey in your nonprofit or small business, I need you, baby, to please go ahead, program like a boss. All right, see you soon.